What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
What's up, Captain Cuck? You're listening to the Bay Ridge Boys History Hyenas. What's up? What's going on out there, hyenas, cuzzies, cuzzy-wuzzies, Chris Stefano, Yannis Pappas, another episode of History Hyenas, and do we have wild tales to tell you?
Woo! We had a good time. We took the History Hyenas down south. Hyenas really don't go down south that much.
No, we invaded. We went past the Mason-Dixon line.
We went into the Confederacy.
Just to make sure they're not trying to rise up again. If they do, we're coming with our Jordans. We're beating them right back down bad.
Yeah, we're Union boys. We marched down there. We saw some great stuff. Yannis got booked on a gig down there. And then he asked me if I wanted to come open up for him, which was disrespectful. But I did it anyway because I'm a true gay. And it was great, man. We were in this little town called Winchester, Virginia.
Beautiful town.
Beautiful town, cuz.
Yeah. It was I love how the guy that booked me was like, how did you get Chris Stefano to come up here for such little money?
Yeah.
I was like, cuz we're going on history tours.
But then, people will be people. Then he asked me to come back to Virginia for $50.
Yeah.
Next month.
It's not like he was paying me a lot of money. I was like, yo, you should be asking yourself how you got me for such little money.
Yeah,
because my career's not that great. That's why.
Yeah, but it's going to change now.
Woo! We had a good time. I know we said we were gonna talk about the Battle of Crete,
yes,
which we will get to
100%.
But we called an audible because all this is fresh on our mind, and we had a wild gay weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, we were skipping around in those battlefields.
Yeah.
We had them all to ourselves because of the weather.
Yeah.
Which made it even a better experience to experience these battlefields during this fog and this rain that we had this weekend.
Yeah, because it felt like, it was somber, It was somber, and it was like there was a lot of death around the battlefield, So it was good that it was raining. I mean, Giannis was upset because his Jordans got ruined, but what are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
I mean, Giannis is let me tell you how wild Giannis, the Greek Pappas, is. So, first of all, we go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. That's where we went first. We drove. Giannis, we had a show. Here's what happened. We left Friday, okay, from New York. Giannis had a show in a diner in New Jersey Friday night because, like he said, his career's going well. So
it's a dog benefit.
It was a dog. Yeah, Giannis loves dogs. Yeah, anything for nature and dogs, Yanni Papi is in. So we go to this benefit. Do some comedy at this benefit. I fucking bombed. Giannis killed.
You didn't bomb.
I bombed, cuts. I bombed. I got into a fight with one of the people. I told him I would kill their cats.
Oh.
Yeah, I got into but then so we were at the diner. There was a couple of cuties with booties there, but we marched on because we knew that we had to invade the South the next morning. So we wanted to be up there, because we didn't want General Grant to be upset with us. So we start driving.
And when you invade, you want to do it under cover at night.
You want to do it under the cover. Well, you want to move your troops under the cover at night. You want to invade bright and early.
Yeah.
The crack of dawn. You want to be out there. You want to be busting heads.
But when we mobilize, you're right.
You got to mobilize under darkness. So we mobilized in Giannis's 2018 BMW.
Yeah, we marched up in the BMW,
just like the Union troops did in the Civil War.
It's a nice piece, that car. Now,
a nice piece. Listening to Kings of Leon jerking off.
They must have hated us. We were rolling around in a white. How stereotypical could we be? White BMW with pink light license plate covers, and then we get out with your gelled hair, and I got my Yankee hat on.
Oh, my God.
They were grossed out.
Yeah, the city of Winchester, Virginia thought they were being invaded by Staten Island.
And then when we went to the Battle of Antietam, which we'll tell you about, great, huge battlefield, we actually bought Union Civil War hats, and we put them on crooked.
Yeah, we put them on crooked because we felt as New Yorkers, if it's a true New York regiment of the Union Army, we would march into every southern town with our Civil War hats to the side, Jordans, pumping fucking freestyle music.
That's right. And this is a good point to plug what we're about to do right now. We love you so much. We just want to say thank you for your service. We've launched our Patreon page. A lot of you are already messaging us about how much you love History Hyenas, how you're a hyena bad, how you're wild, you love history. Guess what we're going to do for you on the Patreon page? We made videos of all of that. Behind the scenes tour videos with our hats on, our Union Boy hats on, crooked and all that. And they're going to be available on our Patreon page.
Yeah, anything we talk about today on the podcast, even in whether it be the first half an hour that's free or the second half hour that's only for our Patreon members, everything we talk about, we made a video of, and you can see that if you go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys and become a member of our Cuz community, you could see all that. But so we go to Gettysburg, right? We go up there, show up looking at the battlefield.
Wait, but you got to tell them first how wild we are. We didn't plan any of this.
No. We did not plan a stitch.
We didn't plan a goddamn thing.
No, this was all literally, we're trying to drive from the diner in New Jersey to Winchester, Virginia. We see a sign for Gettysburg. We're like, we're going on Hotel Tonight, not a sponsor, but a good app. And we're like, we're getting a room. We're going to Gettysburg.
A lot of people always ask, can I be wild? Am I a hyena? Do something like that. We just were driving. We didn't have a plan. We didn't have a hotel room. We had nothing. We had our hotels from the venue the next day and the next day after that. But for tonight, we're just going south.
Yeah.
We're marching south and figuring it out. And then when it started raining, you saw Gettysburg and we said, let's get a hotel. We're going to go to Gettysburg.
Let's get a hotel. And Yannis, at first Yannis was like, he wanted to get 2 separate rooms. But because I know Gettysburg's haunted, I want to stay in the room with Yannis. So we just got one room with 2 beds. And that Yannis helped me out with that because, I'm scared of ghosts, cuz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Maryland with you and I woke up and I just saw you standing there freaking out.
Yeah.
Were you just having night terrors?
Yeah, I was having night terrors. And by the way, I always forget to say who's in the room. Of course, we got our 2 regulars, Isis Face and the White Wasp. But now
Bardo Church,
White Wasp, and Zach Isis Face (?) last name.
But then like a waft smell of pepperoni just came into the room.
And now we have once.
And I looked over and why?
And why? Because it's Minnie Mussolini, aka Jim Serpico. Is in the building. So we got our regular cast of characters. Now we got a complete team. We got the A team, the gay team. The starting 5 are in here right now.
That's right.
So now it's a podcast, bebe, as
That's
Mr.
right.
Panos would say.
That's right.
So we're in Gettysburg.
We had no plan, and it was actually your idea.
Yeah.
It was actually your idea. Because you started Googling, you're like, yo, are we close to Gettysburg?
Yeah, because I'm a big history buff. Man.
Yeah. And then you Google, and you're like, yeah, we are. Boom.
Yeah.
It's not too far out of the way. We're fucking, and we got so pumped. You were sleeping, and then we're like, we're doing Gettysburg tomorrow. Bad.
Yep. We woke up. What we do? We woke up. We coughed up. You tried to have some coffee from the hotel, and you threw up in the parking lot.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it tastes like dirt and water.
That's the thing about New York, dude. He says coffee's good everywhere here. Over there, it's like you got to go get good coffee.
Yeah, I mean, Yannis, we pulled over at some coffee shop off the side of the road in Gettysburg. Nice little quaint town. And Yannis pulled over and no parking any time passway because he just doesn't give a shit. And I feel like you don't get tickets. Like you want to get a ticket there. And in a place like Gettysburg, you're not going to get a $75 ticket and a boot on your car. You're just going to get a note that says, "Thank you for visiting Gettysburg. Please donate $10."
Exactly.
That's what a parking ticket is in Gettysburg.
Have you ever got a parking ticket outside of New York? They're hilarious.
Yeah.
They're cute.
They're cute.
It's like in DC that like you get a parking ticket, it's $35. You're like, I'm just gonna leave this here for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because it'll take 4 years to equal what a parking ticket in New York for one night would be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So ticket me up. I don't care, Gettysburg.
So we go to the Gettysburg National Park Service, the what was that building called that we went to? The Visitor Center. The Visitor Center, which looked like an NBA arena. I mean, when you get outside New York, the space that people have in this country to build. I mean, this Visitor Center literally looked like where the Golden State Warriors play. I mean, a Visitor Center anywhere in New York is in the fucking train station, like it's in a hot dog cart.
Everything is just bigger. You go to church out there, it's like in an arena.
Yeah.
You go here, the church is like 40 people. You go out there, it's like Joel Osteen in front of 18,000 fans.
There's just no room. There's not enough room for it in New York.
They spread out there bad.
So we get to Gettysburg, First of all, some of the weapons that were used in the Civil War were wild. I mean, I would much rather fight. I would much rather, like, they have weapons now that can just evaporate you as a human being. Like, they'll suck the heat out of the air and you'll just suffocate. I'd rather do that than, I mean, these people were getting cannonballs to their faces and into their stomachs. I mean, guys had legit holes in their bodies in these battles of the battle wounds we saw in Gettysburg, PA. I mean,
that's
you get
a great
stabbed
point.
with a bayonet, get hit with a sword.
Yeah.
In Gettysburg, the
canisters.
Yeah, those canisters. That's what the canisters.
They got like these they got like all sizes. They come in different sizes. Remember they had like the little ones that they spray out?
Yes.
And the guy was like, these ones would actually make you evaporate. Because if you get hit with like 10, they just spread out.
They called that the money shot. Yeah, that's what the Union called that.
Yeah. So they had and they're just balls. And then the artillery rounds are like thick iron. They would just blow your leg clean off.
Clean off.
It was probably the first war or that time period where heavy artillery started being. They didn't have they had cannonballs and stuff, but that was it. You couldn't really aim with a cannonball. You just shot it up and just hoped to hit a ship.
No, this was like accuracy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shit that was happening, from the first battle that we saw. First of all, Gettysburg was the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. The most men died there over the course of the battle.
I thought that was Antietam.
Antietam was the most people that died in one day.
Yeah.
23,000 died in one day in Antietam.
Yeah.
53,000 died over the course of 3 days at Gettysburg.
Boom, you just learned something.
Yeah, because at the time of the Battle of Gettysburg, more Americans died in the Battle of Gettysburg alone than all of the wars America had up until that point combined.
Wow.
Which is a wild stat.
That is fucking wild. And you know, it's funny, at the beginning of the Civil War, there was like this, I think he was the mayor. He was a mayor somewhere in Texas or a state congressman or something, Texas. And everyone thought the Civil War was going to last like 90 days.
About 3 months.
90 days.
I'll say that Civil War going to last about 3 months.
And he said, I'll be able to just wipe up the blood with like a pocket napkin.
That's what he said, a pocket napkin.
That's what he thought was going to be but nah, dude.
Pretty big pocket napkin.
You're going to need
if you got a pocket napkin that size,
you better get it from Costco. You better get it from Costco because that was a lot of blood.
Yeah. So we're going around the battlefield of Gettysburg, which is, I mean, it's you could sense like the death there. It's a weird thing to say, but like if you've been there, you could just feel the death. And you know me,
well, it's because you believe in ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a couple of ghosts get on my hood and shit, but thank God I had Yannis and Jesus Christ there to tell me that ghosts aren't real, allegedly. But the way I can describe Yannis Pappas, who Yannis Pappas is as a TBG, true blue gay, and just feta cheese Freddy. Yannis Pappas, just a New York scum that he is. We were behind Union lines. Let me preface.
Well, because look, what you did was just a contradiction. Okay. You said I'm a scum, I'm a piece of shit, but then you said we're behind Union lines.
Okay.
I did the right thing.
Yes, he did do the right thing, but we were behind Union lines, so at least I have to give him this credit. And we do have video of this. If you go on our patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys, the only way you can see this video, we were at, it was called Little Round Top, and it was this beautiful observation point at the height of the one of the hills at the Battle of Gettysburg where the Union Army bunkered down and was taken. A lot of men died there. They were taken, and it was mostly the New York Regiment, by the way. Mostly the New York Regiment.
In all those battles.
New
Bowery boys fucking represented.
Yeah, we just come through. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of the New York Regiment taking direct sniper fire from Confederate snipers at a specific point in Battle of Gettysburg called Little Round Top. I'm taking videos of it for you guys, for the fans. I'm just soaking in the energy of it, kind of getting actually a little emotional. I turn around, Yannis is taking a piss on one of the sacred rocks of the Battle of Gettysburg, just full. I will say this: it was beyond Union lines, and honestly, Yannis, you got nice flow. I will say you got a healthy.
I got a healthy prostate, right?
Yeah, it was raining, but I could.
You
tell.
could hear it hitting the rock hard.
Yeah. So it's like
you thought it was raining hard out.
I thought it was raining hard, and I was like, "How come this rain's warm?" It's because you were pissing on my ankle. That's what it was. So at least he did it behind Union lines. But just so you know, that's the kind of people ask, "How do you be wild? How do you be a hyena?" If you want to be a hyena, you go take a piss on the Gettysburg National Battlefield. That's hyena activity, and probably a jailable offense when somebody hears this.
I pissed on two.
You pissed on two?
And I wanted to. Yeah. All right? Like, that's a part of the story he didn't tell you. There was something in me, I don't know. Look, me and Chrissy, the thing we love, I think we share the love for how much we love history, and like I never tire from doing the tours.
I never tire at
And there
all.
was something deep in me that wanted to piss on the battlefields. And I don't know why. It's like I wanted to be part of, I wanted to leave something there. Like I wanted to just make my mark and just be part of it.
Spray a rock.
I just wanted to piss on it because I felt like it's history and, I should leave my DNA there.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a part of it. I'm a true blue American, so I pissed on that one and I pissed in Antietam.
No, you're a TBA and a TBG, guaranteed. True blue American, true blue gay.
But I pissed in Antietam too, remember?
You did piss in Antietam, and that was in Confederate line. So that was, a little more disrespectful. You're going to be haunted by the ghost of Stonewall Jackson for the rest of your life for pissing on Confederate lines at the Battle of Antietam.
I also spit in the cemetery.
You did spit in the cemetery.
But it was on a Confederate.
Yeah,
it was on a Confederate.
The disrespect, and we have videos of all this fucking absolute savagery that Yannis did this weekend. But you know what? To be honest with you, I don't worry. I don't think even the dead soldiers who were watching over us when we were touring those battlefields, I don't think that they even cared because the amount of shit and piss that was left behind on those battlefields must have been astounding. I mean, this is a history podcast. It's also a nature podcast. I mean, and when you got to when you got to do, what Mother Nature intended you to do, and you got to drop a shit and drop a piss, that's going to happen in the middle of a battle. I mean, you can't hold your bladder when you got Confederate gunfire whizzing past your head, right?
There's no way. The thing that people don't know about battle is almost everyone pisses and shits themselves during battle. And you lose control of your
bowels. Let me just clarify, Yannis and I don't know either. Okay, we've heard this through Yannis's dad.
My dad told me that.
War hero.
Yeah, he said a lot of people. He said a lot of the kids pissed. They just peed.
I had diarrhea the night of my Comedy Central special, so you could imagine what would happen if I was in a fucking Confederate Civil War battle. I mean, I would shit out my organs.
Is that just not an example of how men have changed?
Oh, big time.
Especially me, like I was worried about my Jordans in the rain and stuff. Yeah. And I was getting a little chilly. I was like, it's chilly out here.
You didn't want to get out. You didn't want to get out to view Little Round Top because you said it was raining.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, cuz it's
And then I remembered,
wet.
I was like, oh, we have umbrellas.
Yeah.
So then I grabbed our umbrellas and we just looked like fucking two Mary Poppins rolling up a little bit. Where back in the day, these Union soldiers fucking spitting tobacco on the floor, climbing up there with snipers aimed at them in probably 3-degree weather.
I climbed down one rock embankment to read a plaque. So it's like if there's the sign says, please climb down rock embankment to read the plaque, and I climbed down, it's like, be careful. Yannis is like, be careful, it's slippery. And it's like, first of all, here's what Yannis and I both know, and this is just a fact. We would have been in the Union Army for sure. We would have fought with the boys in blue. I mean, we have to. We're northern boys. We would have had a good time marching down. Yannis and I would have made the rest of our fellow soldiers laugh a lot.
We would
have laughed a lot. And in training, we would have been laughing, having a good time. People would have really liked us. The very first time we got deployed to battle, we were both going to get shot in the head and killed on sight immediately by the enemy because we have no idea what the fuck we're doing.
No, or we're just going to desert. Once the shots are fired, we're running.
Yeah, I mean, I would desert.
I'm a puss.
If I walked past one bakery, if I walked past one Southern bakery, if I just saw one nice piece of Southern puss that showed any interest, I was going to desert. I mean, you could hang me, but to be honest with you, like, I don't want to live in a world where I can't eat chocolate cakes or fucking bang fat chicks.
The Southern charm is really sexy.
Beautiful, the Southern charm. It's fucking beautiful. Being in the South kind of it slows everything down. It's peaceful. My anxiety was down. The blood pressure was down. But then we started eating meat and cheese and shit. And it probably went back up.
We ate like shit.
Yeah, we did eat bad.
The thing that a lot of people never really think about is like, dude, these soldiers marched where they had to go.
Yes.
The battle and look, all the soldiers until the freed slaves got into the army.
The Emancipation Proclamation.
We're talking about white dudes running and walking. That's why these battles took so long.
Yeah,
white dudes are slow.
Well, I mean,
white dudes are slow.
Yeah.
That's why to run towards each other is probably took forever.
Dude, think about Matt Scalabrini trying to fucking, lead a charge. He's just slow. It's bad.
Yeah. It's like watching a marathon runner try to sprint.
And a lot of the things, and see, here's the thing. The Union had a lot more soldiers, of course. We had more states, in the Union that Confederate had less states that seceded. But, the war was in the South. So when you come up here in the North, there's not really any Civil War history. The most northern battle, I believe, was Gettysburg. They said that there was a little skirmish in New Hampshire or Vermont, but in Vermont I meant. But the truest northern battle was Gettysburg, because the war was fought in the South because the South was the one that was seceding from the Union. So the Union had to go invade the South. So you had guys marching all the way from Deer Isle, Maine. That was the most northern place that the soldiers came from for the Union, all the way down to northern Florida.
That's a long
That's a fucking
walk.
long walk, cuz.
Yeah.
That's a long
That's
walk.
a long stroll.
I mean, cuz if they had Fitbits on,
Yeah.
they would be champs. I mean, listen, if some of those Civil War soldiers were wearing Fitbits,
Yeah.
yo, you would have. There's no way you're breaking those steps record.
Good way to get in shape right before you get your head blown off.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
At least those guys died fit.
Yeah, they died fit and cute. And listen, we saw some pictures. Some of these Civil War soldiers,
Cute.
Nobody fat. No, none of them were fat. None of them were. They don't look like us. Like. First of all, the Union hat that we bought, the Union hats that I bought for Yannis and I, that we bought at the Battle of Antietam, that we have videos of it on our Patreon page. They didn't even fit my head. I got the biggest size they had, XL, and it didn't even fit my head. So that just goes to show you, like, my size and weight, having a size 38 waist wouldn't have been something that was even. I would have just had to fight with no pants on.
There were really no fat. So when you see the old pictures of old soldiers in the Civil War, you don't see anyone overweight.
No,
nobody.
And they had nice looking uniforms. The Civil War, the Union had nice looking uniforms, better than the South. I think
They looked similar except for gray and blue.
Gray and blue, yeah. And here's how you know Yannis. If there's ever any doubt that Yannis is in fact a TBG, we had a Civil War guide with us in the Battle of Gettysburg. We only got to talk to him for about 15 minutes. So I was asking a lot of questions about, what was the mindset of these soldiers and what kind of things were they thinking about? Tell me about, like, how Robert E. Lee would outflank General McClellan, and tell me about this and that. And then when Yannis got the floor, he asked them what kind of boots they wore and if the boots were comfortable, and if who picked the fashion for the Union, and if the Confederate soldiers, was there a nicer boot on a Confederate soldier than a Union soldier?
So,
like,
if I'm gonna die on a battlefield, I'm gonna look cute.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. On the day of my death, I'm gonna look cute.
Yeah,
there's no way.
We're asking, like, even the tour guide was like, there's pretty much your standard boot, and you were like, yeah, but is it more like a fry boot? Is it
wingtipped?
Is it wingtipped? Is it Red Wing? Is it more like a Timberland?
Does it have a nice sole to give me a little height?
Yeah, like, what kind of lift are we talking about here? I mean, the guy couldn't believe it. Shout out to Chris from Gettysburg Visitor Center. Good dude.
Yeah, good dude. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gays we came into.
Yeah, but who cares?
Yeah,
I fucking love gay.
We're true blue gays, yeah.
We're a couple of TBGs.
We are. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's fucking the best. Being gay is the best.
Yeah, but these dudes marched far and long. Far and long.
Deep into enemy
Some of them had
territory.
horseback, but you know what the surprising thing that we learned about was? And it makes sense. The South, at the beginning of the war, had the more experienced soldiers.
Yes.
Especially the cavalrymen, because these guys all grew up around horses, on horses. The guys in the North, they're city boys. They don't roll around on fucking horses.
No, I mean, like, it's pretty much how it is today. Like, the North, like, we're Northern Yankees. What do we do? We sit in Starbucks. We talk about shit. I mean, me and Yannis are, we're two king cucks that just live in the North. Where the South, those are the boys. I mean, they're on RVs. They're working in the fields. I mean, and even still to this day, I bet you most of the Army, the ones that they send, like Green Rangers and Marines, they come from the South.
Yeah.
It's got some Kentucky, Louisiana, Florida, Alabama. These are like the strong men of this country, usually are Southern boys. It was the same in the Civil War. It's just, the North, we just had so many more people.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And, Robert E. Lee fought. Of course, he was the leader of the Confederate Army, but we almost had him for the Union.
He was the top choice.
He was Lincoln's top choice.
And you know what? Robert E. Lee was a secessionist.
Yes.
I mean, he was against secession.
Right.
He was against secession, and he was against slavery, personally, morally. The reason why he chose to fight for the South is he just could not take the thought of invading his homeland, his own homeland. That's how much of a Virginian he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest.
So maybe that's why they lost the war, because their head dude was kind of, he was lukewarm in his heart about the whole thing. He didn't have a great cause.
That's true. Yeah, he really, I mean, he was compassionate about it. But
because him and Stonewall Jacks, who was a cutie.
Thomas Stonewall Jackson.
Who was a really genius military maneuverer.
Probably the best, Lee, what they say, was the best, and then Stonewall Jackson was the second best, or maybe the best military leader of the entire Civil War.
Yeah, that's why they called Stonewall. He held the fucking line.
He held it because, I mean, no matter what, he was holding strong, and he was dope at outflanking. He was dope at having his soldiers fight for him, because I think that's what a good general is. I think is you got to make sure you got to convince your soldiers that they may die, but if they're going to die, they're going to not die in vain, and they're going to die for you. And I think Stonewall Jackson can do that probably better than anyone else because the Union generals, Lincoln had to go through like 6 generals before they got to Ulysses S. Grant.
They were, and he was like a failure. He had to work. A lot of those generals worked their way up. They weren't like generals to start, like Robert E. Lee. They were just guys who were unsuccessful in life. Fucking Ulysses Grant was like a failure, a drunk.
He was a failure even at the end of his life. Even after he became president, Ulysses S. Grant, Mark Twain wrote his autobiography just so he could make money to give to Ulysses S. Grant. I mean, he always fucked up.
Yeah.
Grant, but he was good. He won the Civil War, because he basically all that it was the Union soldiers wanted somebody to fight for. Because listen, back in the in the mid 1800s, I mean, there's no cameras. There's really like not a lot of ways to keep track. I mean, guys would desert every day.
Yeah.
And once the morale of the troops goes away, that's why. Because a lot of people think like, why the fuck would the Confederate Army attack the North? Why would you do that? The North is coming to you. Why? Who cares? Why would you ever go into the North? You don't want to be a part of that country anyway. You want to be part of your own country. But the reason why Robert E. Lee decided to attack Gettysburg, because he said, if we can get a victory in the North, just to, even if we edge it out by the skin of our teeth, or just show that we are a powerhouse to be dealt with, we can break the morale of the Union troops and maybe force Abraham Lincoln to just recognize us as our own country and end the war.
Yeah.
So that's how much morale meant. It's the same thing at the Battle of Gettysburg. There's a famous charge called Pickett's Charge. And basically Pickett lost his entire battalion because they just ran down because a lot of war is flanking, outflanking. It's like a chess game. Very rarely is it just somebody ramming it down the middle and just running like fucking savage wild maniacs towards enemy fire. But Pickett's Charge.
And they called that move the old Emmett Smith, fucking barrel him over.
Head down.
Yeah,
boom.
Refrigerator Perry.
So why Pickett did that was because he felt if he could even just get, I think he started charging with 100 men. That was just a random number. I mean, we don't fact check.
I
just threw a number.
There's a lot of guys out there.
A hundo sounds
forward.
good.
Yeah.
A hundo sounds. Listen, you weren't there. Maybe you heard on Google. Maybe you can Google right now and find out that it wasn't 100 men, but you weren't fucking there. I'm gonna say it was 100 men. I was there. I fucking stepped in Yannis's piss on the battlefield. So Pickett, why he did that is he knew that he was going to die. Most of his men were going to die, but he felt it would break the Union's morale to see these Confederate soldiers running full speed ahead and scare the Union Army and also build up the morale of the Confederates behind Pickett to also want to advance. Long story short, everybody got killed in Pickett's Charge. Nobody in the Confederate Army would want to do that because it was a suicide mission, and the Union just won the Battle of Gettysburg.
They got fucked up.
Yeah.
They got mowed down by those pellets.
Yeah.
Those canisters, those fucking smaller canisters, they just sprayed them. They said
gross.
that the whole line would you could see the line moving forward just disappear as they just got sprayed down.
Dominoes.
Because we had the higher ground. We had the higher ground in Pickett's Charge.
All war is about is the higher ground, especially in that time. Who's got the higher ground?
And it's easier to fight on the defense than the offense.
It's all defense. Defense wins championships. Defense wins wars.
Defense just easier because if you're charging, you got to take lead. You're gonna choose some lead if you're coming forward.
You're gonna choose some, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean, to run, you just walked from Massachusetts to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Now you got to charge at these Confederate nut jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't easy.
You slept outside. I mean, what are you eating? Like dry beef jerky.
Yeah.
Whatever crap they had. They were eating. They were malnourished.
Yeah.
They were tired. They were 16. A lot of them were 16, 17 years
Yeah.
old. Wow. What I found out is in a lot of those long marches, they brought dogs.
Did they?
They brought dogs with them. You know me. I always sniff out the dog facts.
Dogs, yeah.
They brought dogs just as companion animals for those long marches.
But
a lot of the company's regiments had mascots, and they fucking loved those mascots.
Yeah, but if they ran out of food, they would shoot and kill the dog and eat the dog. I mean, that's just what's going to happen.
Probably,
but
yeah.
It
happens.
The dog's a true American. It's feeding the troops.
I mean, dogs are always used in war, man, and so they also used in the Civil War. Dogs were used to find the bodies, sniff out bodies.
Really?
Yeah, because the dogs were so close to the regiment that that dog only knew the regiment dudes,
right?
So it would locate the bodies because go sniff them out.
They still have service dogs.
Oh
to this day. Like dogs still go to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Hell yeah! They use the German Shepherds now.
Yeah,
They use all types of dogs. But yeah, and those dogs die with full military honors.
Of course.
I get goosebumps when I see those videos on YouTube when they got a retiring police dog or a retiring military dog, and all the cops line up and they fucking salute this 13-year-old German Shepherd walk. German Shepherd has no idea what's going on. Someone's probably holding a goddamn beef jerky on the other end and telling them to walk that way.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are treating them like a cop, and I think that's dope.
Yeah. It's dope. Fucking animals. And a lot of animals were killed in the Civil War because, they were fighting straight up on farms. You had a lot of chickens getting killed, a lot of cows. We saw a lot of cows in Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania's got a lot of fucking beef. Cows. Got a lot of beef. I'm trying not to eat red meat, though, anymore, cuzzy wuzzy.
Yeah, and sometimes, here's the thing. A lot of what Sherman did was dirty tactics.
General Sherman from the Union Army, and he's famous for Sherman's March to the Sea.
That's right. He burned everything in his wake, and he killed all the livestock. They commandeered all the livestock for their own soldiers, and they really did. They kind of broke the rules of war, right? Because they attacked civilians, burned civilian homes, burned the farms, because their whole strategy was let's really break the back of the South and take away their supplies. So when they march through, it's such a tactic of war that's used over and over again. You see, the Russians did the same thing when Hitler invaded. The Russians burned their own fucking farms and retreated, so there would be no supplies for them to commandeer and use on their own when they got up there.
What's the only city he didn't burn, Sherman?
He didn't burn Savannah, Georgia.
Beautiful,
he said it was fucking gorgeous.
Beautiful town. We want to come down there because we want to do a show in Savannah, Georgia. Listen to me. The next part of this podcast is going to be dope. We went to Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, that we got to talk about, and the Battle of Antietam, which was the single bloodiest day in American history, still to this day. So the only way to get the second half of this podcast is go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys and join our cuz community. For the first half, thank you for listening for free. We appreciate it. If you want to hear more, go see more videos of all the stuff that we just spoke about. We got videos up on our Patreon page. You got to sign up, patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys.
Woo!